we're doing Samantha Marie Designs Azalea Romper. This is actually a woven pattern, but I am going to be doing mine in knit fabric. This is my very first time making this. I am doing my daughter's usual size, so at the very end I'll let you know how it fits and what changes, if any, I would make. So please do me a favor and hit the like button. You should always refer to the pattern's size chart and measurements to choose what size you need. For mine, I am doing a 3T, which is what my daughter normally wears. So for this pattern, I'm doing the panel version. So I am going to add the skirt. So you'll have to cut 2 of those skirt pieces. You will have 2 of the long panel pieces for the front and the back. And then you will have to cut 4 of these upper side panels, and you will need a lining for this as well because we are going to be lining it. You will also need to cut your front and your back lower side panels. These pieces here, you will need 2 of each of these, and then you will need to cut 4 strap pieces. Not 100% sure on the lining pieces. I used this for my lining. I don't know if I'm supposed to use this or the other one, but that's what I used. Also, let me know in the comments, do you guys want to see me cutting out the entire pattern in my videos? I want to do whatever's going to help you most, so if you want to see me cut the entire patterns out for my tutorials, please let me know so that I can make the changes and do that for you. So for this one, I did not show the entire cutting out, but I am going to show you a little trick for your straps on how you can cut all these at once. So just like you normally would fold from the bottom, you're going to do that. And then you would fold vertically from the side however many times or however many pieces you need. So I already had one strap cut out, so I folded this over like 2 or 3 times, I can't remember, and then I cut around those pattern pieces as I normally would, and then that gave me all the straps without having to sit there and cut each individual strap out. The strap pattern piece itself, you're not supposed to cut that on the fold, but I always fold that strap piece in half so that I can cut on the fold. After you have that all cut out, this is what you should have. So you should have 2 of the skirt pieces if you are doing the skirt version. You should have 2 of the back bottom pieces, 2 of the front bottom pieces. You should have 1 of each of your long front and back panel pieces, your 4 straps, and then for your tops you will have your front and back lining pieces. Again, I'm not 100% sure if this is the correct one, but this is what I used. After making it, I almost think that this should have also been my lining because they didn't line up very well when I sewed it together, and I will show you that. But you should have 4 total of those upper panel pieces. So for all the pattern pieces that had like multiples, I didn't cut them on the fold, but I folded my fabric in half and cut them all out mirrored. So first we're going to sew our straps. So you're going to lay these right sides together long ways, and then you're going to sew down that long straight edge, and then you're going to sew closed one of the short ends. If you don't have one of these tools, definitely get one because it's a lifesaver. It is very easy to turn your straps right sides out. It has a little hook on the end. You just slide it inside, hook on that fabric, and then flip it right side out. Super easy. Now for the 4 upper panel pieces, you're going to lay these right sides together, and then you are going to sew the shorter of the side seams here. So it's going to be this side right here. You're not going to sew the other side. So when you open that up, it should look like this, and you're going to do that for both of these. Now for these bottom panel pieces, you are going to lay 1 front and 1 back right sides together. I got confused on this the first time I did it, and I put both of my fronts right sides together, but it's supposed to be 1 front and 1 back, and this will make sense when we go to assemble later. So now we're going to do our lining. This one's fairly simple. You just lay them right sides together, and then you're only going to sew the side seams on both sides. After that, we're going to do our skirt. So you can either hem the bottom of this or you can do a lettuce hem. I chose to do a lettuce hem for mine, and I will show you the settings I use. I typically do 4, 5, 6 for my lettuce hem. It just depends on the fabric. You want to have all your knobs switched over to R and your left needle completely taken out of your machine. I will be posting a lettuce hem video for you as well, but I do not pull my fabric from both sides. I basically hold my fabric in my hand here, taut, and just a little stretch, not a ton. This gathering hack is about to blow your mind. So I am using clear invisible thread. I am setting my tension high, like 5 or 6. And then for my straight stitch, I'm using my longest option, and I have regular thread down in my bobbin. This is going to gather your fabric for you as you're sewing. I will make a separate video on this, but you guys, I am never gathering any other way. This was seriously so easy. I'm still, my mind is blown. You're basically gathering just like you would normally. You're just using different thread. I only did 1 row of gathering stitches on this, and of course when you stop, make sure you leave a long enough tail and you pull that thread out. Now we're going to take one of our bottom pieces and we're going to open this up. And for our gathered skirt, you want it to be gathered enough so that it lays right on top of the bottom and they're even. Once you have all your gathers situated, we're going to take one of our top pieces. We're going to turn this right sides facing down, and you're going to line up that bottom across both of these, and we are going to serge this closed. So just keep in mind that you will be sewing across 3 layers here, so make sure you get your gathers inside. When you're done, this is what it should look like. So when I first sewed this, I was really confused, so I want to show you the layout. So basically your upper and your lower panel pieces, those 4 pieces, that is going to wrap around the body, and this long front panel piece is basically the front of your whole romper. So those side panels are your sides, and these long panels are your front and your back. Just remember for the bottom part of your romper that the front is going to be the one that has the most curve on the leg. So here I have my front panel and both of my sides. So now what I need to do is see which one of these bottom pieces is my front, because one is the front and one is the back. Whichever side is the front is what I want to lay right sides together on my long panel. So I now know which side is my front, so I'm just going to lay that right side up. And I'm going to take my long panel and lay it right sides down, lining up those sides. And you are going to have your skirt here, so you want to make sure that you sew your skirt inside that side. After you sew that, now you need to repeat it with the other side. So I'm just going to lay the side that is my front on top, and then we're going to sew down that side. This is what it's going to look like after you sew that, and now we're going to need to repeat that with our back panel piece. So again, lay those right sides together and sew down the side. We only have one side left, so I am just going to lay this right sides together on top of each other, and then I am going to sew straight down this side. And again, make sure that you get your skirt inside that side seam as you're sewing. Now we're going to do our lining. So I have my romper right side out, and I'm going to take my lining and I am going to slide that over top of my romper. So now my romper is inside my lining, and we're going to lay these right sides together, lining up all the shoulders. After I have all my shoulders pinned and lined up, now I'm going to go back and add my straps in between those. This was just a little bit easier for me because I was confused on the lining part. So I'm going back in and now putting my straps in between the lining and my romper. Once all 4 of your straps are in, you're going to sew the lining closed onto the romper. So your shoulders, your neck, and then under your arms. So again, I think I might have used the wrong lining, or I cut something wrong. I'm not 100% sure because they were not lining up perfectly. So because of that, when I pushed my lining right side out, my straps were a little bit wonky, so I did have to take those out and go back and just shorten the shoulder width on my straps. After we do our straps, now we're going to go ahead and sew our crotch closed, and we're going to do the elastic legs. So I had never done this before, but in the instructions I liked how it looked, so I wanted to try this. So it looks like this is sewn in with a serger and then flipped down and zigzag stitch. So that's what I'm going to do. If you have a hard time with elastic, you can use tissue paper or a plastic bag under your presser foot to keep your elastic moving. So after that, I put my elastic in my leg hole and I serged this on all the way around. Then I basically flipped that inside just over the elastic. We're gonna zigzag stitch now. I really loved how this looked. I am definitely going to do this more often because it was super easy. Now I will say I did use knit for this, so this leg hole was a little bit too big. So if you want to do the elastic, I would make the elastic a little bit smaller just so that it fits tighter around their leg. When you're all finished, this is what it should look like. Now I did a size 3T in knit fabric, which is typically the size my daughter wears, 3 to 4T, and I tried it on her and it was a little too big. So if you are going to do this pattern in knit, I recommend you definitely check the measurements on the size chart and size down 1 to 2 sizes. And then for the legs, I would definitely either do smaller elastic or put a bummies leg band on, just so that it fits a little nicer around the leg and it's a little bit tighter.